I hit my bottom last year. I was living in a crack house after getting into a fight with my mother, and basically they had to come find me. I ran out of money and I was doing all sorts of things that a lady should not do in order to obtain drugs.
Without City of Angels, I would probably be back out on the streets using again. I have no doubt in my mind, because when things get hard for me or when I get in my own head, I call someone. Without City of Angels, I wouldn't have that person to call. And that person to call always is the one that keeps me from going out and using.
So the advice I have for other addicts is there is another way of life. You don't have to live that life, and it's not an easy road, but you will get there. And sometimes it takes more than one try, but not to give up.
Hi, welcome to the Catholic Corner. I'm Monsignor Walter Nolan. Welcome to part 2 of our special program on the City of Angels, a nonprofit organization which offers help and hope to addicts, their loved ones, through a myriad of programs. With me today again is Kevin Mira, who founded City of Angels. Kevin's just a beautiful man and had some hardships in life, but somehow is trying to put it together from the family tragedy. I mentioned last time that Kevin and his wife, Marianne, lost their son, Casey, to drugs. Kevin shares again why he and Marianne wanted to create a safe place for addicts and the families and get a little hope and places for resources, even help people get into recovery, and maybe after recovery, walk with them on a journey that's a tough journey, but a beautiful journey and a passage to wholeness and wellness. Kevin and Marianne have a beautiful son and daughter, Killian and Kelly Rose, who also is part of the great spirit that they have. They are parishioners of St. Vincent de Paul's Parish in Yardville. And Kevin, again, I'm so blessed to have you with us and proud to have you with us. Can you tell me a little bit about the young people who come to City of Angels and how your organization helps them a little bit?
City of Angels, the kids come to us through many ways, on their own, referrals from treatment centers because they're leaving a treatment center, coming out, from parents, just coming to a meeting. Someone else brings them to a meeting and introduces us to them. So they come to us in many ways, and usually the first thing we do is just sit down and talk with them, find out where they're coming from, where they are with their addiction, whether they need to go to treatment, detox, to get rid of the drugs, or if they're ready to go to meetings, NA, AA meetings, whatever it might be. But the first step is usually just sitting and talking with them.
When you talk to them like that, is there some help available? Like, I mean, hospitals that you can kind of call up quick, or other even law enforcement agencies, or somebody who can, when you need help, that kind of help, are they available for you?
Unfortunately, the system's not the easiest system to work. We have a crisis center in Mercer County. Every county has a crisis center, but usually you have to be homicidal or suicidal to be taken into the crisis center. If you have no insurance, there's a county addiction program that has funding for indigent care. It usually takes a while to get into that. You have to be approved. If you have insurance, sometimes that's better because you can get into a treatment center, but sometimes insurance will shut you off after 5 days. So the system is a little bit convoluted, but we learned how the system works, and that's what we're there to do, is help a family, help an addict walk through the system and get the best help they can.
I think it would be nice if we kind of look at some of that segment of your video. Sure. And see how some of the young people react and how they can voice, their concerns and their hopes.
Kids are why we're here.
When I was 19, I was in my second semester at college. I met a lot of people who were doing it, and I just started doing marijuana more and more. I had this urge for it. I wanted to get high all the time. So I was covering up my insecurities. I was covering up all the failures. I saw it as a way out, that I didn't have to feel anything. I noticed it got really bad was when I would be in class and I wouldn't remember it. People would ask me how that exam was, how hard it was, and I would tell them what exam, and they would swear to me that, or I was sitting right next to them taking that exam, telling them I didn't know a thing, like it was just so hard. And also, with that last semester, I started getting into theft. It started out as if I needed something, but I couldn't afford it, and I didn't want to ask somebody for it, I would just take it. And then I started seeing things I wanted. It started getting easier for me. It got around the holidays, and I was with one of my friends who was also stealing, and I got in trouble for it. And that's when I got picked up by my parents at the station. I had been arrested. It was all in the books. It was basically a wake-up call. What I was doing was destroying my life. I went home, I cried myself to sleep. The next morning, I realized I had to do something. I didn't know what I had to do. I didn't know what I could do because everything was taken away from me. I had nothing. I had to find some way to become a better person. And it was even harder knowing that my father went through the same thing when he was a kid. And he saw in me what he used to do, and it sent him off the wall. He was so scared because he didn't want me to go through the same thing. I was scared, I was alone, I had no one else to turn to. I had to leave all my friends behind and I had to start new. That's when I had the intervention with City of Angels. I didn't know anything. The only thing I knew was I'd probably be crying the whole day, so I didn't put any makeup under my eye, only on the upper eye, because I knew I'd be bawling my eyes out. And it really turned out to be the best thing for me. And coming up on December 13th, I will be a year clean. All my court things are all taken care of. And I'm so happy now that that happened. Not that getting arrested and intervened was a good thing, but it's opened up a world of opportunities for me. I'm out there helping other people who need help, who have come and surrendered to City of Angels. It just makes me so happy inside that I don't need to be with the crowd, the only crowd I fit in, doing all these things I don't need to be doing. I have a job, I'm making my own money. I have tremendous joy walking into a store, seeing a shirt and saying, I want that. I could use that at work tomorrow and wear it. Let me go buy it. I could go through a mistake, a failure, or pain and not want to call somebody and say, do you have anything to remedy this? I could feel something and not having an excuse to use. I could call up my network. I could call up people in COA. I could call up my friends and say, listen, I'm having a rough time. Can you please help me? Like this morning, I was having a rough time. Cops showed up at my house. I didn't know why they were there. It was probably a mistake with the courts. I did nothing wrong. I was worried. I called them up. I said, listen, I didn't do anything wrong. I need a hug. I need somebody to be there for me. And I got through. And I had somebody there who can talk with me, who can calm me down and be there for me, not go, oh, I think I'm in trouble, let me run away and go smoke. I'm proud to say I did this and look how far I've come. I'm in recovery and things are amazing. The advice I would have for loved ones with addicts is don't judge, be there for them. They're gonna need the support. Even if it's hard to understand the addict in them, if you're not an addict, they're just another human being like everybody else. To know that someone else has hope for them, other than the hope they probably won't find in themselves, and that's the greatest gift you can give them. Because when someone was there for me and I had nobody else to turn to, it made me see a little glimmer of hope, and it has helped me to come to where I am now. If I would add one more thing, it would be to trust in City of Angels. The only thing for membership is the desire to stop using. That's all you need. If you walk in these doors, we'll help you, they'll help you. Whatever you need, we'll be that hope. If no one else is there, we're there for them.
As a freshman, I went into high school wanting to smoke weed. Homecoming game, I was behind the stand smoking a joint with my friends. Sophomore year turned into going down to Philadelphia, getting into the nightclub scene, getting into acid, hallucinogens. Junior year became a house dealer, for a major nightclub, selling thousands of dollars worth of ecstasy in a night. In my senior year, ended up getting kicked out for selling weed. Of course, explained my way out of that. I graduated in a local public high school. So when I went to college, I had that same problem of needing to move and shake and do what I need to do to get money. As classes got harder, I started to get the attitude, all right, well, forget it. I'll take today off, party tonight. Ended up having to drop out of school, lost relationships. And that's when I kind of went into more of a downward spiral. I came home, was very depressed about it, and all people around here were still in the same places they were when I left. New Jersey didn't change, I didn't change. And I started seeing that people were addicted to the new thing, oxys. So got into that, and before I knew it, I was taking a little piece of one, to a half of one, to a whole one, to multiple ones. 2 years later, I found myself being a major seller of the drug and was moving a lot, dealing with a lot of money, a lot of people that would kill me in a second. I was working as a civil engineer during the day, and at night, I'm in the worst sections in Trenton, worst sections of Philadelphia and Brooklyn, New York. I would get clean for a little bit. I would get Suboxone, I would do what I have to do, and stay clean for a week, a month. I came home from work one day, and a SWAT team pulled in my driveway behind me, guns out in my face, raided my parents' house, took everything I had, took my car, took it all, and the only thing on my mind at the time was I didn't use since this morning. I'm gonna be detoxing in a jail cell. And realized, you know, I have a problem, told my parents immediately, and the night I got bailed out of jail, I went directly to rehab. And that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. In rehab, I learned to surrender myself, to stop thinking what I knew was the best, what I knew was right, and to listen to what other people had to say. You know, I went through life always thinking I'm in control of my destiny. I'm in control of everything. No one in this world is going to tell me what to do. I learned the hard way. I'm not in control. I'm not as slick as I thought I was. And there is where I learned really though, just to be able to be humble myself, take advice from others, learn the steps and about the program. I was ashamed of a lot of things I did, but looking back, what you did in your past builds who you are today. And you have to hope that what you learned from the past and your past mistakes translates into what you can be and what you can become in the future and what you can do. City of Angels has helped me greatly. After coming out of rehab, this was the first meeting I ever attended. When I came here, it was a good group of people that were my age, I could bond, connect with, felt like a safe place. Good leaders in the group. I got a sponsor through City of Angels, giving me that structure I needed coming out of rehab. Definitely has been something that you need if you're gonna make this program work. Recovery's not an easy thing, and there's 3 meetings a week for City of Angels. I go to all 3. You can have enjoyment in life doing things sober, and I never thought you could. I got high before doing everything and anything, whether it was family dinner, snowboarding, jumping out of an airplane, it didn't matter. I had to get high first. But life has got so much more to offer, and being sober and doing things like jumping out of an airplane or riding my motorcycle, it's great. I know just the pain and despair that I came from, and don't ever want to go back there. I've come right into the City of Angels from getting out of rehab, did my 90 meetings in 90 days, and just continue to talk to people, volunteer, have a sponsor, and just try to live a better life.
I met some people I probably should not have met and been involved with, and they took me to a bar, and I had never drank or did anything up until that point. And I just started drinking the alcohol, and the alcohol led later that night to cocaine, and just kind of rolled from there. When I didn't care about the people I was hanging out with, and I started doing the drugs by myself, spending over $1,000 a week by myself on the drugs alone. That's when I kind of realized that was my low point. City of Angels helped me through rehab. City of Angels helped me once I was out. They helped me get a job. They invited me back to come to not only spiritual meetings, but also to NA meetings, where I eventually started to chair the meetings, which made me feel more important. You know, like I was a part of something great. And they got me involved with the kids of City of Angels, who I can relate to. And they've been probably my savior. Except for Jesus Christ, they've been my savior over and over and over again. City of Angels helps me on a daily basis. When I get into my head, which is my worst enemy, I'm able to come here at any time that I want to. I can just think, I can do step work, I can go downstairs and play darts or pool table, whatever I want, just to get out of my head and know that I'm okay. And I can call any one of them at any time and they will be there for me. I already had a faith base as a young kid, and when I turned to drugs, I turned away from God and pushed it away. It wasn't until I came to City of Angels and I surrendered myself completely that I was able to find my faith again. Well, my advice to addicts who are not in recovery: surrender to God, surrender to your disease. It will kill you. You know, it may not kill you today or tomorrow, but it will eventually kill you. Come on down to City of Angels, because they will wrap their arms around you. They will get you into recovery. They will follow you once you come out of recovery. If you need a home, they will find you a place to stay. If you need a job, they will help you with a job. If you need food, they will feed you. They will do everything they can to help you out.
My name is Amber and I am 23 and I'm in recovery from an addiction to pain medication. I had very complicated surgery about 2 years ago and I got stuck on the pain medication. Just kind of couldn't kick the habit. I realized that I was an addict not too long into it. When the doctor stopped giving me the pain meds and I was still going out to find it, I knew I was an addict, but that didn't stop me. So I was clean for about 9 months and then I had a relapse for about 3 or 4 months, and I got paid from work, and that night I went and got high and I went to Kansas. I decided to drive to Kansas when I was high with someone I didn't even know. It was someone I had met that day, and they lived in Kansas. This was during the hurricane, and they were there doing cleanup, and I just took off with this person that I didn't know. I disappeared for 6 days. Everyone was looking for me. They thought something had happened to me, and I called my mom, and she was crying, and that's when I realized I needed help. My cousin, her boyfriend, does the landscaping for Tom Clark. He's one of the people in City of Angels. She called him, and an hour after I got off the Greyhound to come home, I was over there and talking to him about getting involved with a program and getting clean. City of Angels helped me in so many different ways. They got me hooked up with a sponsor. They showed me what meetings I could go to. They tried to get me into treatment. I got state funded for it, but I couldn't get a bed. And by the time the rehab called me and told me that they had a bed for me, I was already almost 30 days clean, so I didn't go. In the beginning, faith wasn't a big role in my recovery. I didn't know about it. I wasn't raised that way. I didn't go to church. I didn't believe in God. Being a part of this group, seeing all the people that have been worse than I was and where they are now, there has to be a God. And I started to believe. I started going to church and praying, and my life was 1,000 times different than it was. Now that I do, I see so many little things where I took for granted, but I see that it's God working now. Having a relationship with God definitely does help me keep in my recovery. Whenever I feel a desire to use, or even just when I get upset, or even when I'm not upset and I'm having a good day, I pray and I talk to God, and it helps me stay on the right track. I can feel him talking to me and looking down on me and kept telling me don't do it. I can feel it now, and I didn't before. There is definitely a scripture that helps me. It says, the light has shone into my darkness, but my darkness has not understood it. And to me, the light is God and the darkness is my addiction. And because I'm new to my faith, I feel like God is shining into my addiction, and my addiction doesn't realize it because it's still there. It's always in the back of my head. There's always a voice saying, let's go get high today. But the light overcomes it.
I started Mercer County College and started getting in with the wrong crowd. I had to face a lot of things that I wasn't ready to face coming back here. I had to face old people and places that I didn't want to. I started getting high again, except I was drinking a lot more because I was older and cooler, or so I thought. And I started doing every drug in the book that I can get my hands on, and it even progressed to like heroin and pills and crack. It just got worse, and my family had like really no idea. Who would think their daughter who graduates Mercer on the president's list and worked 2 jobs was a drug addict? When I started TCNJ, that's when things really got out of control and they kind of figured things out. I stopped to 1 job, my grades started slipping. I went into treatment the first time at 20 when I was living in the crack house after I got into a fight with my mom, and that's when they really figured things out. I mean, the only other person that really knew what was going on is my boyfriend, and I was trying to lead a double life, but he eventually caught on. I was put in a carrier clinic and detoxed and came home and tried to work a program, but I didn't really know how. So I started drinking again, and I had relapsed 1 more time on pills. And after that, I was just done. I was just tired of that life. And it's a daily struggle, so I have 5 months as of 4 days from now, and I fight it every day. It's been a long, hard road. I'm 21 now, and I'm graduating college this year, and I have 5 months. Like, I have the similar pain as another addict. We've all been through pain, and we all go through the same steps to get to recovery. It's well worth it, and at first I didn't see that, and now I do, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for my faith and for City of Angels. They give me a place to go and a place to feel like myself, and I don't have to worry about what anyone thinks about me when I'm here, and I feel like I have a family, and everyone can relate to me when I'm here.
I just wanted to be cool, so I started going out to parties and stuff like that. And then I had this thing where I couldn't say no to people, so I started trying all different kinds of drugs, pills, coke, everything. I started to like it and do it more and more, and in a blink of an eye, I was addicted to everything pretty much. I didn't care about anybody. It really just ruined my life, to be honest. Changed me into a person I was never thought I would become. When I turned 18 and I'm about to be 21 this month, I just used every single day for the past 2 years, and then I fell off. That's what I like to call it. I turned into a monster. Now I'm thanking God I'm here in recovery. The moment I realized that I had a problem was when I was 20 years old. It was last year. I just was at a party one night with all my friends, and I looked around and I saw all my friends just drinking, having a good time, and I was drinking, having a good time, but in the back of my head I was like, all right, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go find pills or whatever. I gotta go find drugs. And the next morning I woke up crying to my mom, and I said I have a problem and I want to go get help right away. And my mom was like, okay, don't stress it. We're going to take you to City of Angels, and I'm going to let you talk to someone. The guy that convinced me, his name was Paul. The next day he was like, I'm going to give you a call and hopefully we have a bed. The next day he called me and he was like, all right, you ready to go? I got you a bed. So I just said, yeah, let's do it. And I just went to rehab and it changed my life. The City of Angels gave me hope that I saw other people that had the same disease I had, and it made me realize if they can do it, I could do it. They give me just a safe place to be around. If I ever have a problem, if I ever have a bad day, I can come here. City of Angels helps me in a lot of ways I really can't explain, but it just makes me feel safe that I have people to go to and I have a place to go to, and when I have a problem, they're not gonna judge me, they help me through it. I'm trying to build a strong relationship with God, because I still have resentment and feel like I don't deserve relationship, but I go to a spiritual meeting Sundays, and it's starting to make me realize that He will forgive me for everything I've done, and He'll stick by my side no matter what. My relationship with God now that I'm sober is getting definitely stronger. I pray every morning and night, and it just, after I pray, it just takes like a weight off my chest. The Serenity Prayer, definitely. I say that every day. So it just gives me the strength and gives me the wisdom every time I say it, and makes me like remember that there's some things I can't control and there's some things I can, and something I can control is my disease. And if other people ask me to do stuff, just little stuff throughout the day, I can't control that. So that I just have to let go and just focus on me. My advice to other addicts is definitely to get in recovery, because you hear about kids dying all day. Disease wants you dead, man, and it will take anybody down. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. I would say just give it a try. You're already miserable, you know what I'm saying? Just what's the worst that can happen trying to get help and get into recovery? What's the worst that can happen? Recovery showed me a different way of life, definitely. So yeah, my advice is to get in. My mother, she started going to meetings that are called Neron meetings. It's for loved ones. That just changed her life completely. Of course, she still has, any mother or loved one's going to still have worries and still be stressed, but it teaches you how to handle certain things. And my mom went from a worrywart to a calm mother, and that just changed her life a lot, because you don't want someone that you love to be suffering because of your problem. So Neron meetings, I definitely would recommend for loved ones, definitely, and don't enable them. In the future, I'm just going to take it day by day, but I'm going to stay sober, and I'm going to get a good job, I'm going to be a good dad, and I'm going to just be a great person, something that my disease didn't let me be. So in the future, I'm going to be a man.
He said in the future he's going to be a man, Kevin. I think there's some real men and some real women in those videos.
Absolutely.
It's good to see. It's good to see how we can grow out of the darkness, as they even said, you know, and know that there is light. Tell me a little bit, Kevin, about you know, how they get in touch with you. I know there's a website and a 24-hour hotline. Yeah,
they can reach us through our website, which is cityofangelsnj.org. They can also call us, but a lot of the referrals just come in from some of the kids that you just saw, bringing in friends and trying to help other friends.
You know, I guess it's hard enough to do what you're doing, but I said to myself, God, wouldn't it be wonderful if every locale had a City of Angels? And,
yeah, we've thought about that.
You know.
We've thought about that, and they certainly need them. We've been up in Staten Island, Scranton, Orlando, Florida. So
well, maybe someday it'll happen. You know, that's how things grow. And even Jesus himself started with just a few people, and
right.
all of a sudden, look what's happened. Bless you and bless all of those youngsters. City of Angels, you know we love you. Please know you're much loved, and there's a God who loves you. Be good and kind to each other, and let's share and help anyone we can. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Monsignor.
Really nice. God bless you.